Welcome to the Authority Advantage podcast. I'm Modesta Mahiga, CEO of Authority Global and a trusted advisor to global leaders. This podcast is for leaders whose authority is not theoretical. It is assessed by boards, by partners, by selection committees, by institutions, and increasingly by the public and media. Today's episode explores what happens when authority is built intentionally, not for visibility, but for credibility, trust, and consequence. My guest is someone who exemplifies this shift, Rita Mchaki. Using her journey as a real-time case study, we'll examine how strategic positioning, when backed by real delivery, turns visibility into trust and opportunity, and why global authority is no longer optional, even for leaders operating primarily in national or regional contexts. Let's begin with her bio. Rita Mchaki is a seasoned business development and trade expert with over 15 years of experience across global development, trade competitiveness, and strategic growth. She currently serves as Associate Advisor, Value Chain Packaging at the International Trade Center, ITC, a joint agency of the United Nations and the World Trade Organization, where she contributes to initiatives strengthening enterprise competitiveness, sustainable trade, and inclusive economic growth. Previously, Rita held leadership roles in resource mobilization communications at UNDP and in management consulting in Tanzania, supporting and leading initiatives valued at over 50 million US dollars. She is widely recognized for her integrity, results-driven leadership, and commitment to women and youth empowerment, and is known for pairing strong global institutional credibility with consistent in-person industry engagement. Rita's professional influence spans both online and offline environments, making her an ideal guest for today's conversation on authority that holds when examined. Rita Mchaki, welcome to the Authority Advantage podcast.
Thank you, Modesta, and Happy New Year to you. Thanks for
Happy
having
New
me.
Year to you.
Yes.
Oh, Rita, I am so excited to have you. You had to be the first person that we're interviewing on the podcast in 2026. Rita, I've seen you really take your place on the global stage, and I've seen you go through the process of really distinguishing your mark globally, even from a national perspective. So I want us to debunk this myth that many people still think that global positioning is about geography. Am I going to another country? Am I going to another continent? But why is global authority just as critical for leaders operating primarily in local or national contexts?
First of all, thank you, Modesta, for this opportunity. I'm honored that I'm your first guest, and
Absolutely.
we kick off 2026 this way. First of all, in result of your question, I want people to understand that the way the world is right now, it is a global village. You can be in this location, and especially with the internet, you are open to a multitude of people out there. So for me, it's not just about, okay, I'm here in Tanzania, but then where do I see myself? So I have national and African experience, but the relevance of my work is global.
Mm.
I've made myself credible globally because of how I've positioned myself. I have been fortunate to, since the beginning of my career, to work with multinational institutions. I've worked with multi-stakeholder environments, with SMEs, with governments, with donors, the private sector, the international community. So I had a stake in what global actually means. But then the whole experience is within the context of Tanzania. But then it's a mindset shift that I am here, I am working with these people, and how is my experience in Tanzania, how is it relevant to the space beyond the borders of this country?
Oh, this is so good, Rita. I love how you mentioned, right? You're mentioning your experience in the institutions and the stakeholders, right? And they're global in nature. And you're saying, by the way, this was all in Tanzania. Yet
Exactly.
there's a way that you have positioned yourself um, uh, to align with the exposure you've had all along, to align with the stakeholders, with the global stakeholders
Exactly.
you work with all along.
Yes.
So, Rita, my next question to you, right, is okay. So you're all respected in your field. You've been global all along.
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
prompted you to become intentional about positioning yourself as a global authority?
Well, that's a very good question. I think when I decided that, I mean, I see my potential, but I didn't really know how to articulate it and really own it. And
Mm,
that's when, we had the executive coaching assignment with you, and that journey was a complete turnaround, not only to my mind, but also the results that came out of it. Because I mean, I remember the first assignment you gave me was a 360 evaluation, self-evaluation, and we do this. I mean, as I said, I've worked with multinational corporations.
mhm,
During the end of year reviews, we always do that.
yeah,
But then this time, you challenged me not to just think about. I was like, oh no, am I doing another 360 degrees? I mean,
yeah,
really? But then
yeah,
you asked some very important questions. Where do you see yourself?
yeah,
You know, who do you want to work with? Where do
yeah,
you see yourself in 5 years? When you do these evaluations or this assessment in a corporate setting, you're
yeah,
confined to that corporate setting because you have to align your goals to what the organization or the institutions want to achieve. So
yeah,
even your key performance indicators, everything is about the institution. But
yeah,
this was for me the first time, like, what does Rita want?
yeah,
So with that, it gave me clarity and then also gave me the space to really own what I have achieved. Because,
mm,
you said we don't toot your own horn, but at the end of the day, you should say it. Say it but it has to be backed down by deliverance. Whatever I write online,
yeah,
I can back it up by performance,
yeah,
that I am a trusted, valued partner. And whatever I write, I have to ask myself, okay, is it something that I have already demonstrated? Is it a
mm,
solution that I've
mm,
already provided? Can somebody come to me with the same problem, a similar problem, and I can give them a solution or even a better solution? It's not just about, just about writing that this and this is what I am, but how do you present yourself in real time,
yeah,
you know, physically and also online. So for me, the first step was really articulating who am I and who do I want to go and where do I want to go. And then
mm,
another thing you did, Modesta, that really just opened up my eyes is what kind of institutions do you want to work with? I never thought of that because always I said when you do that assessment is always in the confinement of the organization that you are employed in. And I've found that with many professionals, I don't know, maybe in my space, they tend to confine their persona or their personality or who they are and position themselves in light of their position. So if
mm,
that position goes, then what next? Who is Rita? What does Rita stand for? Even if we go in a business meeting, they say, okay, you have to introduce yourself. But then despite that, who can vouch for who Rita is
yeah,
despite that organization? Yes, you're working for an international organization or you are a CEO of your own organization. But then despite that, what other person are you? So when you said who do you want to work with? And then what position do you want? That was the first assignment before we spoke about everything. And then
yeah,
I was like, okay, because now I had started going online and seeing those positions and what the kind of qualifications, the kind of experience. And then that's when I said, okay, this is where I see myself. Now that gave me a global positioning that, okay, I have what it takes. I am in Tanzania, but I see myself across the globe.
yeah,
And I have been approached by global organizations. I mean, it's not by chance that I worked with the companies that I worked with. I
yeah,
I strongly believe it's by design.
yeah.
I was supposed to work with those positions. I was supposed to work with those organizations to become the person that I am today, and I'm continuing to becoming. So that was the first thing. Coaching really helped me. It gave me the confidence to really articulate who I am and then move with it. Because once you have clarity, you know
Yeah.
what to go for, you know what to say, and you know who you're speaking to.
This is so, so valuable, pure gold. Speaking of clarity, so this year, well, starting from last year, we also had this soul searching. Who are we? Where are we going?
Mm,
Who are we serving? What are we giving them? And because working primarily online, you have to be intentional about where you're investing,
Mm,
your go-to-market efforts. And so finally, where we are now, and if I were to speak as Modesta, as a global expert, I'm a trusted advisor to global leaders. And this is the little sliver of a niche of a pie that I now focus on is assuring authority under scrutiny. I work with
mm,
global leaders when they're being vetted, when they're being assessed, when they're being
mm,
considered for opportunities, even when perhaps even their credibility is in question, right?
mm,
For now, it's not like a PR stint. It's not just to create an image or facade. No, it's really the fact that when you are under scrutiny, everywhere you are, you will check out. Your authority will be assured and it will hold. And I've heard you say this. You're saying, well, whatever I say, I post online, however you see me, I back that up. I live that. I'm not
mm,
creating a persona that I'm just putting out there. This is in fact who I am. And it aligns in every area. So
mhm.
you have helped us actually move into the next question I had for you, that positioning isn't just self-promotion, it's clarity, right? It's not I'm just looking for to make myself seen and accepted or valued for the sake of it. It's the fact that I've done the soul searching. And thank you so much for referring to the work we did together in executive coaching. I am clear about who I am as an individual, the value I
Mm,
bring, and the type of context that I think would bring out the best of me.
mhm.
I now want to ask this question. How then do you navigate visibility? Because now you really are visible. Recently, I know we were in a context where you met people, and this person just kept on saying, "I know I've seen you somewhere. I know you somehow." And I think they saw you on LinkedIn, right? But it's just like, and it couldn't have been that they saw you once on LinkedIn. It means
Mhm.
clearly you've established authority and you've left a mark. So my question is, how do you navigate being visible without compromising your authenticity, for instance?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. First of all, it's how I looked at LinkedIn
Yeah,
because I was already doing the work,
yeah,
and LinkedIn it gave me the platform to gain that visibility.
yeah,
So I stopped looking at LinkedIn as a platform.
yeah.
I showing up as if I'm showing up in the boardroom, in
Yeah.
a donor meeting, in a partner meeting, that you
Nice,
are prepared. You don't
nice.
just, you're just prepared. You're not just talking to anybody.
Yeah,
And with LinkedIn, if you see somebody requesting to join your network,
yeah,
they will, it will say so and so is an equal connection and stuff like that.
yeah,
What I've realized also in LinkedIn, is even if you don't vouch, if you don't back out what you say physically to what you're presenting online, somebody
yeah,
will they'll do a background check. You have to exemplify integrity and trust. I
yeah,
mean, you can have a very nice post, and if somebody will ask about this person, I've had two or three people come to me and say, I asked about three people, and they say the same thing. So
yeah,
I have been consistent in how I present myself, knowing that okay, fine, and I know exactly who I'm speaking to. So because okay, I have a background in marketing and communications,
mm,
so I am so good with telling SMEs or partners how to present themselves. And then I had to have a pep talk with Rita, like, Rita,
yeah,
who are you speaking to? What are
yeah,
you trying to achieve?
yeah,
Who is your audience? And then you focus on that audience. So you'll see in my post, I give insights to the field, real valid examples, reflections on delivery. So, there's no and then even my frustrations or some reflections you share, because at the end of the day, you don't want to sound like a robot. You
yeah,
are a human being. You want people to relate to you, but you have to be relatable. That same conversation online should be a conversation somebody will expect when they meet you physically. And then you back by it, because there's somebody who told me something interesting, that I am on LinkedIn, but I also have a Facebook account, I have an
yeah,
Instagram account.
yeah,
Understanding that there are three different platforms with three
yeah,
different audiences, but I'm the same person.
yeah,
So I have to present myself in a way that it reflects that person. Somebody just came and said, you know, I follow you on all three platforms, and then you are consistent. So one
Mm.
thing about, when you decide to write, you should write consistently.
Yeah.
You shouldn't write 1 month and then you come back 6 months later and then you say, "Hi, my name is Rita. Just
Yeah.
let me reintroduce myself." And then I introduce myself in another 6 months. You
Yeah.
have to be really intentional
Yeah.
and you have to understand, because at the end of the day, I say out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
So for me, what has helped is I'm consistent.
Yeah.
What you see is who I really am.
Yeah.
What I say I can do or have done, I have really done. And what people have to understand is about with the global community, they don't reach out to potential, they reach out to trust. So are you
Ooh.
credible? Yes, potential
Wait,
is for
wait, wait. Don't just walk past that. They don't reach out to potential. They reach out to trust. Unpack that for us. What does that
they
mean?
don't reach out to put yes, because if you're consistent and you're messaging, so sometimes I was posting for 1 year
Uh-huh.
before I got a breakthrough.
Mm,
And it can be really frustrating. And you
mm,
might have, if you go on likes, you might just give up after two
yeah,
months.
yeah,
But then somebody is watching. Even if they don't like, they're reading your posts, they're watching,
mhm,
they're seeing. So you are trusted. You
yeah,
have built a trust.
yeah,
Not today you speak about this topic, and then tomorrow you're speaking about a different topic in another industry. You're not consistent.
yeah,
So they'll look at and say, okay, this person has been consistent. Their language has been consistent. What they have presented and how they demonstrate themselves has been consistent.
yeah,
Because when you want to go global, they don't, the pool is bigger. In
yeah,
Tanzania, the pool is big. It's very competitive. So you can
yeah,
imagine how much more it is. You are competing for a global stage with a
yeah,
global audience. So you
yeah,
really have to understand who you are, be
yeah,
confident, and really vouch for it yourself, and know that, okay, am I a trusted partner? Because
yeah,
if somebody's going to bank on you, they
yeah,
need to know that they have made the right decision, and you
yeah,
have to prove that online.
yeah,
Remember, this is, you have met me physically. You know how, you know exactly my pattern, but
yeah,
these people have not seen you. They
yeah,
just read about you.
yeah,
So they make a perception. And once you put something out there online, that's it. So
yeah.
you have to be really intentional, understanding what you want to say, but then the clarity starts from within. Who am I? Who am I speaking to? And where do I want to go? And what audience do I want to capture? And what am I saying? And whatever you decide to say, be consistent.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love everything you're saying, even from the entire thought, when you responded and said, I don't see this just as a social platform. I see this as a potential partner meeting, a
Yeah.
boardroom. I see, so in a way, and especially on LinkedIn, and I've made the decision to just be on that platform because that's where my audience is. When I
Mhm,
was
mhm,
very clear about the people whom I want to engage with, I want to support, and who see the value of what I have to offer, and it's a no-brainer for them to engage with me. What I am hearing you say is this is a platform where, as I am consistent in and am clear about what it is I'm putting out, this is like having a virtual interview without any pressure. As people see your profile and the consistency of what you're doing,
mhm,
that to them is like they're interviewing you, or they hear you giving a keynote speech, or they
mhm,
can already hear, you've spoken about, I'll share experiences, I'll share insights, I'll share deliverables, I'll share frustrations, I'll share my opinions on how things can be done better in our industry. They get to, in a way, they get to see you as a leader should they want to consider you, whether it's for board or for a position, or as a thought leader. And so by being that intentional, um, you're actually opening up your pool, your market to greater than your geographic location. And
very
right?
right. Yeah, correct,
Like
correct, correct.
like all of a sudden, you're no longer a Tanzanian in Tanzania. you're Tanzanian globally. And anyone, because this is what the algorithms do, they connect your content to the kind of people that would resonate with that. I remember you saying that, even the connections that reach out to me are now different since I started positioning differently. Tell us a little bit more about that. Like when you saw that, oh, now I'm being discovered, trusted, and sought after beyond just the local context that I've been in. Please.
That's very true. I mean, the connections that even today, the connections are it's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
I'm getting global connections from Africa, from outside. The people that have viewed my profile.
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't have this kind of opportunity to have that kind of space. So
yeah,
yes, it is a boardroom. Yes, it's a partner meeting. Yes, it is an interview.
yeah.
I'm getting people from across Africa,
Mhm,
and these are C-suites,
mhm,
director level,
mhm.
people that they would be interviewing you for a post. And
Yeah,
then you're like, oh, wow. I mean, these people, they want to connect because,
yeah,
okay, you can follow somebody, just read and keep it moving. But
yeah,
when somebody connects with you in LinkedIn, they have committed to
yeah,
see your content on a daily every time they get into LinkedIn. So
yeah,
that is, you have to look at the kind of people that you're connecting. And when
yeah,
I started getting the kind of people that I want, because I said, I have positioned myself globally.
yeah,
Yes, I am
yeah,
here in Tanzania, but I see that I am beyond.
yeah,
I have the potential and the relevance to take my experience and make it relatable to other markets.
yeah,
So when I started seeing these people reaching out, I
yeah,
knew that I was in the right track, that these are the kind of people that I want to speak to. These are
mm,
the kind of people that I want my attention. So these are multinational organizations, people from other UN agencies, people from 500, Fortune 500 companies. I'm just like, wow, wow,
mhm.
wow.
Yeah,
And these are, maybe you have written in, you have requested for and sent applications to these organizations, and they haven't even responded with,
yeah,
we
yeah,
regret. But then
yeah,
with LinkedIn, you get to have what I can say, quote unquote, an interview
yeah,
without even being invited. And
yeah,
then I have had organizations or some people just reach out to me and want to just have a conversation to
yeah,
consider me for something else, even if it doesn't materialize. But then I'm like, okay, I got the attention of the audience I'm seeking.
yeah,
So what should I do more? What should I do less?
yeah,
And at the end of the day, it's not just about posting. It's not about making it visible. Be clear what you want to say. Be know what you want to say, know who you are saying it to, and be consistent. And everything that you decide to say or you say, it has to be backed out by evidence because you don't want to be in a position that at 2 months down the road, 3 months down the road, somebody has vouched for you and then you are a disappointment. So yeah, so I always make sure that integrity is a key value and a core value that I always demonstrate online and offline as well.
Thank you so much for saying that, Rita, because authority can be reinforced or broken when under
Mhm.
scrutiny, right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
make sure integrity, make sure consistency, make sure you're the same person everywhere.
yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
recently I think it was a book I was listening to, and I think it was actually The Science of Scaling. I'm trying to remember, but I think it was because that's one book I've listened to over and over. And they were saying, there are times it's really underwhelming. A person who you looked up to, you meet them in person, you're like, oh, right? They're a
Yeah.
completely different person from who you met. So I
Mhm.
wonder what disciplines help you ensure your work, your leadership, and collaborations hold up when evaluated? Like, what are some of the disciplines you put in your own life to make sure read at work, read in leadership, Rita, in community and in collaboration, when evaluated, you come out tops.
I think for me, I mean, this has been through and through, and I didn't know that it was what I was doing. I think it was something I was doing in the back of my mind without really articulating it. Is I stick to my core values. I have three cores. I work really hard, and the person who really ignited that from the get-go is my mother. She said, whatever you do, even if it's sweeping, do it well. do it well. So I've grown up with that. Whatever I do, do it well. So even at home, professionally, if I tell you that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. And if I find myself that I am not able to meet that, I will not. I will not do it. If I cannot finish it, I will not start it. So it is about you have to have core values. And that is the only way that you can be the same person in the boardroom, at home, that consistency. You cannot have separate personalities and just show up differently. So you have to be the same person. That's why I gave an example with the three platforms I'm in. It's the same person. But then, of course, the language is different. I mean, the demeanor is different, but somebody can say, okay, you're consistent. You're truly the same person. Yeah,
So good, Rita. And I mean, I think in a way we've come full circle, right? From you said at the beginning, I started with a self-assessment. I started with
mhm,
evaluating who am I outside of the title, the position in the organization I'm in? What do I
exactly.
stand for? Where am I going?
Hmm. Hmm.
What do I bring and to whom? What solutions do I bring to whom? And we may not have really spent a lot of time on this, but a person's values, they show. I mean, if there's something that will not lie, who you are, what you stand for will tell on you every time.
Exactly.
Because you can prepare for an interview, you can prepare a document.
Hmm.
Right now, you can chat GPT almost anything, but who you are will tell on you, as my kids say. It will tell on you. It
Oh
will
yeah. Oh
show.
yes.
And so, what did I hear you say? Work hard, be a person of your word, and
Hmm.
be consistent at it. And over
Hmm.
time, that actually builds. Over time, that, and I want to talk about building authority in the context of personal branding. Personal branding, although it's your effort, is actually people choosing to have that opinion of you.
Hmm.
So in a way, you've lived a certain way consistently, and then at the end of the day, you hear other people say that about you. It's not really what you're saying about yourself, right? Personal branding is I've been intentional about the values that I hold, about the consistency in what I serve. And as a result, people will say, if you're looking for this, go to that person. If you want a person who will deliver on time, go to that's the brand that you've created. And so for a lot of leaders who feel that it's so inauthentic, this positioning conversation, try to put yourself, I don't do that. I just do my work and and keep my head down. I think they miss the opportunity to be intentional, not just in the doing, but intentional in being visible in such a way that other people will know to find them when they're looking for them.
Hmm.
And so thank you for going back to values. It's really key because like you said, there's some people who may not like your post if you're on LinkedIn. They may not have a conversation with you, but they're watching you over the years. And what
Hmm.
impression they get is Rita is the person I would look for when I'm looking for this. Or I can trust her to be honest, or I can trust
Hmm.
her to deliver. And I think at the end of the day, you have to be intentional about that. Yes,
Yeah.
there are those who will just do their work and keep their head down, but then those who are visible will be the ones you said out of sight, out of mind a little earlier. Those who
Yes,
are
I did.
visible will be the ones that
Mhm.
hold on. And visibility without values is a disappointment. So sadly, often people may package themselves and visibly wow, but when they don't have those underlying values, whatever it is, that authority will not hold under scrutiny. And one of the things that I truly appreciate about you, and our relationship has really evolved over the years, is you've been consistent in upholding your values.
Mhm.
So to me now, you're such a reference, not just professional, but I mean person, that I may not even want to know what it is you're doing right now. I just want to know this is a person I want in my circles and a person I can trust, regardless of what I would ask them to do or ask them to hold in confidence or ask them to be honest about. They will do that in whatever sphere. Very few people can be people you trust, not just to do their job, but to be who they say they are consistently.
Mm.
And I think you're one of the people that I've met on this planet that is like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Modesta. Thank you.
Having said all of that,
Having said all that, that is very kind.
having said all of that, I
I don't
wonder.
have tissues. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No, it's true. It's true. And I don't just say things for the sake of saying things. I speak the truth. Now, 2026 is not a year to hustle.
No, no, no.
2026 is a year you leverage
Mm-hmm.
intentionally to achieve
Mm-hmm.
what you want to achieve. And I keep on hearing you say intentionally. I keep hearing you say consistently, right? So I wonder, as we're closing off, what guidance would you offer senior professionals who want uh, to be on LinkedIn and want to have visibility work for them, but they really do not want this to be something that consumes them in 2026? How would they go about it?
Yeah. Okay, that's a very good question. I mean, the first thing is, the self-reflection. You
Yeah.
have to, within yourself, you have to want more. I mean, if you don't want it, then you cannot, nobody can push you. There's only so much anybody can do, even if the organization that you're working has some trainings and development plans. If you're not going to sign up for it, then it's of no use to you, right? So
Mm,
first of all, as an individual, as a leader, as a thought leader, if you want to go global, whether it's national, global, whatever that is, whatever suits a person,
yeah.
understand where am I now?
Yeah.
What is working? What is not working?
Yeah.
And where do I want to go and how do I get there? What are the gaps? Fill
Yeah.
those gaps
Yeah.
and then start demonstrating that, in the choices you make. In about positioning, I was just thinking earlier that when you position right, opportunities don't you don't chase opportunities, they find you
Yeah.
because you've positioned yourself right. You have leveraged it by, being consistent, having consistent in posts. I mean, with LinkedIn, you can have at least one, commit to one post a week or one post every 2 weeks. Be
Yeah.
consistent and you can even schedule the kind of messaging, have topics that
Mm,
this week I want to talk about this week I want to talk about this. Have it a schedule, like put it on your diary, put it on your Outlook diary, whatever it is, but then you have to commit. And once you write it, and the Bible says, make a vision, write the vision and make it plain.
yeah.
Because when you write it down, you've committed to it. So
Yeah.
write it down, write whatever you want to do, and acknowledge who you want to speak to. And every time you speak, you're speaking to that audience.
Yeah.
You're speaking to that audience, acknowledging the fact that, yes, this is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So it's not just speaking to this national audience, but I'm not only speaking to the people in my peers in maybe this industry, you're speaking to a broad spectrum. So make your conversations simple, easy to read, and relatable and
Yeah.
memorable.
Yeah.
I keep saying this, 2026 is a year about taking up space.
Yeah.
So if you don't take up space in your industry, somebody else will.
Yeah.
So it is your choice whether you want to be left behind or you want to move where everybody else is moving. And there's a space for everybody. But if nobody can make that decision for you, you really have to articulate for yourself. And just, I always say you have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
It's only when you get to that phase that you say, okay, fine, what am I doing that is not working and how can I make this better? So for me, I mean, 2026 is not just about opportunities, it's about aligning with impact for what I stand for.
Mm,
Always going back to my core values
yeah.
that what do I stand for? What who do I want to impact? What do I want to leave behind? How do I want people to receive me and to experience me? And who do I want to collaborate with? So it's not just about having many opportunities, but making the right choices. Even if it's just one choice, it's one opportunity. Maybe that's the opportunity that I need to create the impact that I need for 2026. But because I've articulated, I know exactly what I want and who I'm talking to and how I'm going to get there. And we're so blessed, I mean, with technology that we have that space. Before, you have to, as I was saying, you send so many proposals. If it's a proposal, if it's you're always online looking for jobs, and you don't even get a we've received Miss Mchaki, we've received your application, we regret. You don't even receive that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But with LinkedIn, you're given that space, but then with caution, as I said, make sure that whatever you post online, you can back it up offline, that you are the person that you say you are. That is the most important thing.
So key, so gold, so
Yeah.
relevant, so timely. Authenticity, values,
Mm.
intentionality, looking at those gaps, and really consistency, showing up to feel them, understanding that we're in a global context now. Even when you're in a local context, you can go out globally. Rita, if, and I know for sure because I know our audience, people want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
I am on LinkedIn, and I would love for your audience and anyone who listens to this to connect with me on LinkedIn as Rita Mchaki, and we can connect and continue off this discussion. Yes.
Brilliant. So I'm going to make sure that I put your LinkedIn URL in the show notes as well. Rita, thank you so much for such a grounded and honest conversation. Today's discussion reinforces a core truth. Authority is not claimed, it is earned, it is demonstrated, and it is proven through consistency in delivery. At Authority Global, we work with leaders and institutions preparing for increased visibility, leadership selection, institutional review, and transition, ensuring that their authority holds when it's assessed, just as you've demonstrated. So, for anyone out there, if you're approaching such a moment, and want to navigate it with clarity and confidence, you can book a confidential conversation with me, and I've shared the link in the show notes as well. Thank you for listening to the Authority Advantage podcast. Until next time, have a great one. Bye.